Hello chaps, I hope you're well. It's now officially spring here in good old Blighty, which of course means that it's been sleety and snowy and windy and sunny and rainy and sleety again, all in the same day. So today I thought we'd look at the Sage Smart Kettle, which I mentioned a couple of videos ago when I was reviewing the Sage Smart Toast. So yes, it's the Sage Smart Kettle today. So let's make some tea.
I say.
Okay, chaps. So here it is. This is the Sage Smart Kettle. It's chrome. It's very flash. It kind of matches the very modern minimalist look of the toaster. So the set kind of matches. What we've got is the base obviously is separate to the actual kettle itself, and it beeps to let you know that you've taken it off. So it swivels around for left and right-handed use, just like many other kettles. And just like many other kettles, it boils water. So what makes it smarter than a normal kettle? I hear you cry. Well, essentially not much, but what it does do is boil, or rather heat water to different temperatures depending on what it is that you're actually going to be drinking, which is something which none of us are really used to. We boil water for tea, we boil water for coffee, we boil water for all kinds of tea, but actually depending on how warm you heat the water actually changes the flavour of the tea, with tea especially. Coffee, you're supposed to, as they tell us in all the books, heat to just below boiling, because if you put boiling water on coffee, it burns it and changes the flavour. But let's go in a little bit closer, and I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, chaps. Well, you join me down here in mission control on the business end of the Sage Smart Kettle. Apologies for the reflections, but every time I move, there's a different kind of light going on. So you'll see it looks like there's a party going on the left-hand side of the frame there. So what we have down here are the same sort of brushed aluminium buttons that we've got on the Sage Smart Toast. So all the products across the Sage range match. So this here is a big start cancel button, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you press start, it'll come on, and then if you press start again, it'll go off. So start cancel, pretty straightforward. Then we've got the keep warm button. Again, that's pretty self-explanatory, but what it means is that you set your kettle to either one of the predefined temperatures or to boil. And then if you forget about it, it will, once it drops below, I think it's about 80-90 degrees, it will heat the water back up to that temperature. So if if you're watching something on TV, for example, and there's a break, you go out to boil the kettle, and then you forget, it'll keep it boiled for the next time there's a break. So that's pretty handy. Right, let's go across and look at some of the other buttons. So here we have the range of temperatures that the kettle can well, I say boil, can heat up to. We've got essentially the titles of different teas across the top here, so you know what each one's for. So from the lowest temperature, 80 degrees centigrade, this is of course, we have green tea, 85 degrees for white tea, 90 degrees for oolong, 95 for coffee, and 100 degrees for boiling, essentially, black tea. So what you'll see here is that you select each one in the same way that you would on the Smart Toast, and it lights up, and then you just press start, and the kettle will start to heat the water up. And it's not overly noisy. It's you can sort of hear it there. Okay, chaps, so what I thought I'd do, just to prove a point that boiling water to different temperatures does affect the tea, is do a little experiment. So I'm not entirely sure if this is going to work, but you know, if what we're told is to be believed, then it should do. So the idea is that if you say pour boiling water on 1 cup of tea, and you pour rather water of a lower temperature on the same kind of tea, more tannins will be released from the hotter water, therefore affecting the taste. And so with green tea, you should be using water which is around the 80-degree mark, again up to boiling water for black tea. So what I've got here is just two standard tea bags from our good friends at Yorkshire Tea. So I'll pop those in there, and I'll heat the kettle to 80 degrees for the first cup, and then I'll start a timer for 3 minutes, which is the manufacturer's recommended time, and then I will do the same with the boiling water, and after 3 minutes take the bag out, and then once they're both done, because of course this one will be done first, we can compare the results. So let's see how that goes. First cup out, and before I spill it everywhere, so pour that up to there, and I'll just get my timer going. Ready, go. Might be a little bit before that because I wasn't very accurate with it. So yes, that one's brewing. So whilst that one's doing that, I will actually no, we'll wait for this one to finish, because otherwise that might get to 100 before this timer finishes, and then I'll get very confused. So I'll wait for this one to finish, and then I'll take the bag out, and then we'll do it with the second one, and then when that one's done, we'll compare colours and see if we've got anything different. So let's wait for that. Okay, so that's the boiling water done as well. So we'll just lift this bag out without doing too much agitation, and let's see if we can notice any difference in the teas whatsoever. Well, I mean, looking on the back of the camera, it's not a huge difference, but in person you can definitely see that the water, which was heated to 80 degrees C, it's almost the same colour, but you can see through to the bottom of the cup, whereas this is a lot murkier, and that is of course the tannins in the tea being released with the hotter water. So I think if I put it on the spoon there, that one compared to that one, does that look any different to you guys? Probably not. It's quite difficult to tell with just one spoon, but certainly in person you can see that this one is a lot murkier. I'd say they look almost the same colour, but this one has sort of more sort of stuff in it, making it sort of cloudier, and that is indeed the tannins in the tea. So yes, to you chaps, it probably doesn't look very different. And you know, if I set the white balance on the camera properly, it would probably be a bit more noticeable. But there we are. So not the most scientific of tests, and to you chaps, probably not the most convincing either. But certainly to me here in the kitchen, I can see that water that was heated to a lower temperature has released fewer sort of micro bits in the tea. Micro bits, what are they? I don't know, I just made that up. But anyway, you're fine with boiling black tea, of course, or rather using boiling water for black tea. But with your green teas and your white teas, it's better to use a lower temperature so that you don't release the tannins in those tea, which cause a more sort of unpleasant flavour. So if that's your bag, baby, then use this. Okay chaps, so there you have it. That was the Sage Smart Kettle. I just had a quick Google, and it's currently retailing at around 89 of your hard-earned English pounds. So 90 beer tokens, obviously quite a lot of money for a kettle, but if you wanted to match the toaster, which I'm sure you bought after my previous video, then you'll need to spend 90 quid. So all that remains is for me to try and remember which of these teas, either the Beatles mug or the pictures of my fiancée's niece mug, has the hotter tea in, because I've forgotten. I think that's the cold one. More tea for me. More tea, Vicar.
I say.
Sorry. That's still very hot.